the first thing that jumps off is that's not her nose. That's not her nose. That's not her. So they had a interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. I like to call her Ghislaine because that's who she is. And you know how they did a body double on Jeffrey Epstein when they said he committed suicide, and then they switched a body and they got him out the night before. Right, I'm going to show you. We already covered it. I'll show you in a second. But it looks like they're doing the same thing to Ghislaine, and they're doing it right in our face. Watch this.
There's some debate online on whether this is Ghislaine Maxwell or is this Ghislaine Maxwell, or are they both?
So that's obviously not her. That looks like one of the Three Stooges dressed up as Ghislaine Maxwell. That's what that looks like. That does not look like Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Because Ghislaine Maxwell looks like that. You see how high up her ears go? You see how thin her nose is?
It's the nose that's really
the nose is
to me.
It's obvious, and you can even tell by her eyelids. So you saw this, right, Kurt? You saw that when they tried to pass off this as Ghislaine?
Ghislaine?
Yeah.
I saw the other prison picture. Wait, so this one you're saying is not her?
No, I'm saying, let's watch.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Or are they both Ghislaine?
Is that, so that doesn't look anything like that other picture, does it, Kurt? No.
No.
It doesn't.
Well, I mean,
prison food is known to fatten your nose.
Yeah.
That's why so many lifers look like prize fighters from the 40s, because they weren't fighting. It was just a sheet cake.
Look, the wall comes for us all, Jimmy.
Okay, so here, there's more. So this is like 3 or 4 minutes long. Watch.
Maxwell. And in the spirit of investigative research, I decided, hey, you know what? Let's line up the photos. Let's take a close look at them, and let's try to be as objective as we can possibly be, trying to steer away from any kind of pitfalls of cognitive bias. So what I did was I put this photo in Photoshop along with 2 other known photos of Ghislaine Maxwell. The first thing I did is I put yellow dots where her pupils are, and then I went from the very top of the ear to the very top of the ear, which skirted right underneath her eyelids. And the reason I did this is I wanted to line up the pupils especially, but I tried to line up the pupils and the ears as well as I could. And when I got all 3 photos in place, there were 2 things that jumped off the screen right off the bat. See if it's as noticeable to you as it was to me as I show you an older picture of Ghislaine.
Well, the first thing that jumps off is that's not her nose. That's not her nose. That's not her.
Eugene Levy. It looks like
yeah, what is that? Eugene Levy? Who is that? Is that Robert
Jimmy,
Blake
look,
with a black wig?
I'm sorry to be the expert here, but there's really only one way we can tell, and that's looking at them titties.
Okay, here we go.
Sorry.
Maxwell before she went into prison. What's the first thing that jumps out at you and screams, hey, something ain't right here?
It's the nose, for sure. The nose is 100% different. 100% different, but also the ears and the eyes. He's going to tell you. Watch.
Was for me, number one, it was the nose. Look how right here, right before she went to prison, she's got kind of a W-shaped nose. It kind of dips down. Right here, it's completely absent. You don't see that. So here's before, here's after. By the way, this right here was taken from the February 9th deposition. This is February 9th, 2026, just a couple days ago, where she multiple times invoked her Fifth Amendment right to be silent and not incriminate herself. So here's the deposition photo, and here's a photo before she went to prison. You see that? Now look at the line. This line right here goes from ear top to ear top, but then right here, it goes through the top of her ears. It looks like there's maybe a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on the top. This right here is the very top. Now, I understand there's lighting, there's camera angle. This camera angle right here could be down like this. This camera angle could
those
be
are not the
pointed
same
up,
ears,
which would kind of make things seem just a little bit uneven.
No.
But the next thing that jumped out at me was her eyelids. Apparently, there are a couple different kind of eyelids. I'm learning the monolid and the double lid. In this pre-prison photo, you can see that she has 2 monolids. This right here kind of is a double, but it goes mono right there. And this is totally mono. And yet from the deposition photo, clearly 2 double lids. And I'm thinking, okay, what is going on here? So I grabbed a third photo from her younger days, and you can see that a young Ghislaine Maxwell had the same thing that this Ghislaine Maxwell had. See right here, partial double, and then it goes on to mono. In her younger days, partial double goes on to mono. This right here is clearly mono with a partial double right there, which is consistent with this photo as well. Partial double goes on to mono, partial double goes on to mono. But then when you look at the February 9th deposition photo, full double eyelids.
Full double.
But the most glaring thing is that nose. I mean, look at this right here. The eyes are pretty much lined up. That's another thing too. You can see this goes pupil to pupil, but then when you go to her pre-prison photo, it's kind of on the outside of her left eye, which is on our right side. So not even the eyes line up, but the nose, come on, give me a break. That is a completely different nose. Are they trying to sell us on the idea that this is a post-plastic surgery prison nose? Are they doing plastic surgery in prison?
To make your nose look worse? To make your nose look fat and stubby like John Belushi?
I just want to point out that when you look at all the photos that are available for Ghislaine Maxwell on the internet, never is she wearing glasses.
Never is she, okay.
Okay, here's one thing that's disturbing me right now. So when I initially saw the photo comparison, Jimmy, it was not these photos he's showing. It was a photo where one is at a different angle. So this, I've never seen this until just now. I've seen one where it was a different angle. So somebody put that out on purpose to distract from this one. That's what that means to me.
Or is this a completely different person altogether?
It is.
Because that nose and that nose ain't looking alike. But this nose and the younger nose perfectly match. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyelids. Look at the nose. Look at the pupils. Now let's go straight from the youthful photo to the deposition photo. Look at that nose. Completely different. Look at the ears. Different. The eyelids. Different. Even the brow structure to me looks different, although the hair is kind of obscuring it. But there's another thing about the hair in the deposition photo. It's almost like they went out of their way to maintain that exact hairstyle you see in other Ghislaine Maxwell photos.
That's right.
Look at this comparison with this to the youth photo and with the older version of Ghislaine Maxwell. It really just seems like they got a hairdresser on the scene, maybe employed a little wig action to make it look as much like a Ghislaine Maxwell hairdo as they possibly can get. And they forgot the prosthetic nose. In my view, the placement of the ears, not so much the shape of the ears is in question. The nose is completely different. The eyelids are completely different. And there's something a little off about the pupils, the lineup of the pupils and the eyebrows. What do you guys think? Is this Ghislaine Maxwell the same as this?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I think. No, it's not the same.
She's missing the most important part of all, Jimmy, the joy and optimism in that smile.
Yes. So, Bawbag,
Queen of the Ocean.
Me and my monkey says, sorry, buddy. So this guy is trying to debunk this guy I'm showing you.
Okay.
He says, sorry, buddy, but are you sure the deposition photo is from the deposition? Looks like somebody used AI to increase resolution. This is the resolution from the deposition.
That's worse. That is worse.
Then the guy comes in and says, even though there may be enhancements, I looked carefully at the deposition video. I'm still seeing a different nose, eyes, and the ears don't appear to line up. And then this guy comes back and says, agree. And thanks for the analysis. The dimensions and shapes don't line up on the original either. Looks like the AI didn't change the dimensions, just thought you should know. So, and then these people come in and say, not even close. I think they do this on purpose to put it in our faces. It's all a game to them. That's where I'm at too, Andy.
Okay,
it's not even close.
It's an iTunes agreement. You don't look at the agreement. You say, I agree to this. You don't know what's in it. So the game is to get you to take an iTunes agreement. Always.
We'll be right back with more of this story after a brief message from our sponsor. JP Morgan expects gold prices to surge to $6,300 per ounce by the end of 2026. This comes against a backdrop where gold has already moved into record territory, having surpassed $5,000 per ounce just this year. According to JP Morgan, this is more than just temporary market panic. They believe gold prices are being supported by a structural floor created by central banks and large institutional investors, as well as underlying macro pressures like geopolitical uncertainty and diversification away from paper assets. Even after the recent price pullbacks, JP Morgan says long-term momentum remains intact. And then there's silver. Silver continues to trade in triple digits, reflecting broader precious metals momentum. Many analysts now see silver pricing entering a repricing phase, with industrial demand and supply pressures driving interest. Silver's dual role, industrial use and monetary metal, makes its recent move noteworthy. There's a big reason institutions are talking about precious metals. If you want to learn more, Monetary Gold has a complimentary gold and silver guide. Visit jimmylovesgold.com or call 800-476-7790 to request their free guide. So I just want to remind you, this is Jeffrey Epstein's ear when he was alive.
Yeah.
This is Jeffrey Epstein's ear dead. So you could see how it doesn't look anything alike. Same thing with his nose.
Yeah, your head shits your ears down the side of your face.
This is Jeffrey Epstein's nose alive, Jeffrey Epstein's nose dead. Those are not the same. Those aren't even, look at his eyebrow. Look at his eyebrow.
Yeah.
But the biggest tell are the nose and the earlobes. You don't even need the pink thing to show you. Just look at how different that is. You see how different it is. Here, I'll show you another one.
If Jeffrey's alive, okay,
which I think he is.
Then that means, just without even seeing that really horrible picture that looks like it's a double. She was above him. Jeffrey was not in charge of her. She was above Jeffrey. So ain't no way that she's gonna not be in jail serving time if she's more important than this guy. Even.
So I've said, since the day they said she was in jail, how do we know she's in jail? Just like I was like, how do we know Epstein's dead? How do we know that Ghislaine is actually in jail? What? How come?
Because Michael Tracy's reporting is spot on. We have Michael Tracy, Jimmy.
I do feel sorry for him.
Not me. Go rot in hell, fucker. You're going to pay for that, motherfucker, in this life or the next.
Whatever happened to him in his childhood, it didn't turn out right. But I
had a very abusive background,
me
and yet
too.
I'm against pedo cannibals.
But
I wouldn't cover up
worse.
for them.
I'm going to guess
I wouldn't
it was
cover
worse.
that up.
So that's the dead Jeffrey Epstein's ear. That's the alive Jeffrey Epstein ear. Those are not the same guy. That's Jeffrey Epstein's dead nose. That's Jeffrey Epstein alive. These are not the same person.
I'm sure your anti-Semitism affected his features as well.
I'm sure of it.
Look at his ear, sad and depressed, frightened, like that Super Bowl commercial.
So here, this is huge. The individual anonymously posted to 4chan the morning of Epstein's death, August 10th, claiming he witnessed weird happenings at the prison before Epstein's death, has been identified in the Epstein files. Roberto Gravaglia, an officer at the jail where Epstein was, has been identified as the anonymous prison employee who posted on 4chan claiming Epstein left his cell Friday evening shackled in a medical wheelchair, while at the same time an unauthorized trip van arrived at the prison, which he believes took Epstein away the night before news broke of his death. The day after Epstein's death, U.S. Attorney Berman opened a grand jury proceedings and subpoenaed 4chan, Apple, AT&T, and Citibank for records aiming to uncover Gravalda's identity following the anonymous 4chan post. His name is not redacted on his bank records included in the subpoena response from the Citibank for his voice. So this is huge. So they're doing the same thing they did to Jeffrey Epstein. They're doing to Ghislaine Maxwell. Those aren't the same people, and they've already been snuck out of prison.
They look like some streetwalker that they put a wig on. Look at how the hair is so wig-like compared to her hair in the other pictures. So wig-like.
And so here's the 4chan that prison guard made, not saying anything. There it is. They took.
Oh my God! I got to order that wig, Jimmy.
They took Epstein out of it. This is his 4chan post saying they took Epstein out. So, and that we now know is him, the real prison guard from the prison where Epstein was. That's a guard. That's his post on 4chan. And his post says, not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night, after 4:15 count, they took him, meaning Epstein, they took him in a medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We don't know. We do not do releases on the weekend unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Really? Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number, and the guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate.
Mhm.
You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out.
Yeah, no shit.
And here, that's who this guy is. There he is. Signatory details. That's him. Okay. Just so
Now that we know it's not victims' names they're hiding in the files.
Right.
Look, right now, if you're not putting it together, I don't know if you're gonna. I just got to put it that way because I'm hearing the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life from people who've been dumb. That I told you so that Chris Keene recorded from the show earlier. What a beautiful card to send to friends and family. It's just me saying I told you so and laughing at them.
I just think it's interesting, Kurt.
Interesting. You're like the first to bring up APAC, which is interesting.
It's just interesting, it's just weird.
It's interesting. I haven't thought about APAC. It's interesting, which is interesting. Which is just interesting.
It's just interesting.
Listen, it's interesting you say that, which is just interesting.
What's interesting about it?
That it's just interesting as you bring up APAC.
We just need an AOC now to complete the buttons.
It's just interesting. Okay, if you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and only jimmydore.com, because if you go anywhere else, they're going to charge you more money. Come see me on tour. I'll be in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. If you go anywhere else, you're going to pay more.